The rain poured down like shattered glass, that night cold, sharp, and endless. The city streets shimmered with reflections of red taillights, puddles forming small mirrors for broken dreams. And in the middle of that storm stood Lena, clutching her worn handbag, tears mixing with the rain. She had nowhere left to go. Her landlord had kicked her out an hour ago. Her boss had fired her that morning for standing up against a customer who had harassed her. And now, stranded in the pouring rain, she felt like the entire world had turned its back on her. That S when a black Rolls-Royce Phantom pulled up beside her, its tinted windows lowering just enough to reveal a man. "Get in the car," came the deep, commanding voice. Lena froze. The man was tall, sharply dressed, with an air of power that made the air itself seem to obey him. His face was unreadable, his tone neither kind nor cruel, just final. I'm fine," she stammered, stepping back. "You're not," he said flatly, opening the car door himself. "Get in now." Every instinct screamed at her to run. Something in his voice, steady, protective, almost desperate, made her legs move before her mind could argue. She slid into the warm leather seat, shivering as the door shut behind her. The car began to move through the rain-soaked streets. The silence inside was heavy. She dared a glance at him. His jaw was tight, eyes focused on the road ahead, hands gripping the steering wheel like the world depended on it. "Who are you?" she finally asked. He didn't answer. "Where are you taking me?" she pressed, her voice trembling. "To safety," he said quietly. "Safety?" She gave a nervous laugh. "From what?" He looked at her then, his eyes dark and unreadable. "From people who think you've seen something you shouldn't have." Her heart stopped. "What are you talking about?" Pulled out his phone, swiped across a photo and showed her herself. Standing outside the restaurant she worked at, just before a sleek black SUV exploded into flames across the street. She began. "You were just in the wrong place," he interrupted. "And now, someone thinks you know too much." Lena's breath hitched. "Who are you?" He hesitated for a moment. Then, "Ethan Hale." Her eyes widened. The Ethan Hale, the reclusive billionaire CEO of Hale Dynamics. Known for his ruthless business sense, silent demeanor, and complete disinterest in the world outside his empire. The man who never smiled, never gave interviews, never showed emotion. But why was he here saving her? The car weaved through narrow streets until they reached a gated estate outside the city. The guard stepped aside immediately. Inside, the house was vast, all glass and silence. He led her to a fireplace, threw her a towel, and said, "You'll stay here tonight." She looked around in disbelief. "You can't just kidnap people into safety." He looked at her, his eyes softening slightly. "It's not kidnapping if they'd be dead otherwise." She fell silent. His words carried no exaggeration, just cold, brutal truth. Over the next few days, Lena learned fragments of the story. Hale Dynamics had recently exposed a massive corporate corruption ring. Some of those involved were dangerous. One of their assassins had mistaken her for an informant because she unknowingly witnessed a secret exchange that night. Ethan had intercepted the message, her name on a list, and acted before the killers could. Still, she couldn't understand why he cared. "You could have sent someone else," she said one evening as they sat by the fire. "You didn't have to come yourself." He didn't look at her. "Had my reasons." "What reasons?" His voice dropped. "That someone once did the same for me, and I was too late to save her in return." That night, Lena couldn't sleep. She looked around the mansion, realizing that behind the wealth and silence, there was loneliness. A man who built walls of glass but lived in shadows. Days turned into weeks. As the danger subsided, she found herself talking to him more. Slowly, the silent CEO began to open up. He told her about his sister, Emily Ann, an investigative journalist who had been killed years ago for uncovering a similar ring of corruption. He had spent years blaming himself for not protecting her. When he saw Lena's photo, standing where Emily once had, he couldn't let history repeat itself. One morning, Lena woke to find Ethan gone. His assistant said he had left for a meeting. Hours passed. Then, late that night, the news broke. Ethan Hale had been in a car accident. His vehicle had been rammed off the road. Without thinking, Lena rushed to the hospital. When she saw him, unconscious, hooked to machines, tears streamed down her face. She held his hand and whispered, You saved me. Oh, please, don't leave me. A faint squeeze of her hand. His eyes fluttered open. You're safe, he whispered weakly. That's all that matters. But Lena shook her head. You matter too, Ethan. Weeks later, when he recovered, she refused to leave his side. Their connection had grown into something deeper, two broken souls, finding solace in each other. One evening, as the sunset painted the sky gold, Ethan turned to her and said softly, "When I told you to get in the car, I thought I was saving your life." She smiled gently, her eyes glistening. You did, but maybe you saved your own too. Moral message. Sometimes the people who seem coldest are the ones carrying the deepest scars. And sometimes, saving someone else is the only way to heal yourself.